Welcome to Maths and Science by IITian channel. This is the first part of NEET and JEE physics, and this is the fifth lecture on vectors. And in the last class, we have derived the formula and understood the geometrical meaning of scalar triple product of three vectors. That is in lecture number 4. You can refer to that for the scalar triple product of three vectors. Now we will be dealing with vector triple product of three vectors. Because whenever any vector is multiplied with another vector, there will be two types of products. One is scalar product, that is dot product, and another is vector product, that is cross product. Now, we have already dealt with the scalar product of three vectors. Now, we will be dealing with the vector product of three vectors. Now, let us understand the geometrical meaning of it. That is sufficient for physics. We need not dwell into the derivation of the formula. We will take the formula, we will understand the geometrical meaning, and we apply it in the physics. Now in this, what is A cross B? That is equal to vector product of two vectors. And this product is normal to the plane of vectors A and B. This is the main property for a cross product or a vector product. For example, this is one product, this is one vector, OA or A we can say, and OB or we can say B. Then the vector product of A and B that lies on this line, this is A cross B, that lies on this, and this is normal to the plane of OAB. This is origin. OAB are resting on the same plane, and normal is perpendicular to that plane. For example, you have to understand this perfectly. A cardboard is there, like this. Please imagine a cardboard. Take the cardboard in your hands. This is the cardboard or a rough pad where you are writing, and you will be writing with your pen. This is the pen nib you are writing. This is the cardboard or paper. This paper is on the horizontal plane, is on the table, and you are writing with the pen. As far as the angle, this pen is perpendicular to paper plane. This is the paper, A4 size paper you kept on the table. I am seeing isometric view. Then you are writing with a pen. Pen is perpendicularly held. And this angle is 90 degrees. The angle between the pen and the paper is 90 degrees. Let us see. This is where this is a plane of vectors, two vectors lying on this plane. That vector can be, one vector is this way, P, and another vector is this way, Q. These two are lying on the paper. And angle between the paper and the pen is 90 degrees. This is the normal. Please try to understand this. This is the P cross Q meaning. And if I cross multiply P cross Q again with some other vector, that is P cross Q again cross multiplied with R. That means P cross Q is at 90 degrees to the plane of P and Q. Please try to understand. P cross Q perpendicular to plane of P and Q. This is P cross Q. P cross Q is perpendicular to the plane of P and Q. And again P cross Q is perpendicular to the plane of P and Q. And again this total is perpendicular to the plane of P cross Q and R. Two perpendiculars make parallel. 90 degrees plus 90 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. Two perpendiculars make parallel. That means P cross Q cross R will lies on P and Q plane. This is perpendicular. Let me say this is S. Now S is perpendicular to plane PQ. Perpendicular to plane PQ. Plane of P and Q, where P and Q are lying. And P cross Q cross R is equal to P cross Q, we told you it is S cross R. This is equal to perpendicular to plane of S and R. Already P and Q is perpendicular to plane of P and Q. Hence, S and R. S is perpendicular to plane of P and Q. And this result of S into R, S cross R, is perpendicular to the plane of S and R. That means S cross R is parallel to P and Q from these two. S cross R parallel to P and Q. Two perpendiculars will give a parallel. That means S and R lies on the, S cross R lies on the plane of P and Q. Lies on the plane of P and Q. Why I am insisting on this in this detail? Because on this questions may come. Like some force, movement, some torque is acting in this plane, then what happens, how this resultant will be acting, whether it will be in this plane or in that plane. Questions can be asked on the triple product. Hence, you should understand the meaning of the cross product. Cross product is very, very essential to be understood. If two vectors are there, the cross product of these two vectors will act at an angle on a line perpendicular to the plane of the both the vectors, of which vector product is being under consideration. Similarly, for a triple product, it will be on the same plane, vector product, because it is a perpendicular to perpendicular. It comes back to the same plane. Parallel means the same plane. It comes back to the same plane. That means, I will show you. This is P into Q, P cross Q. This is perpendicular to the plane of P and Q. Again, PQR is this way or this way. Because vector can be, except for the sign, the lying of the vector in the same plane. Science we can do. Afterwards you can calculate and you can see sin theta, whether theta is here, theta is there. From that you can find out minus sin theta plus sin theta. But as far as the plane is concerned, then this will be P cross Q cross R. This will be perpendicular to P and Q. Here it is perpendicular to P and Q. Second perpendicular to P and Q is this line. Please try to understand. Hence, we can conclude that two vectors P and Q are considered. 1. The vector product or cross product of these two vectors will be perpendicular. We'll write in full. Perpendicular to the plane of P and Q. If a third vector R is considered, then the triple product P cross Q cross R lies in the same plane as P and Q. These are very, very important observations. Please make a note of them. And using these observations, we get a formula for A cross B cross C as, using the above formula, A cross B cross C, which is parallel to A cross B or is lying on the plane of A cross B. When something is lying on the plane of A cross B, we'll take the dot product of C and A because it is lying on the A cross B plane. First, let us take the dot product of C and A and multiply with B minus. It is lying on the same plane of A and B. Now, we'll take the dot product of C and B now. Multiplied with A. I think this formula you can easily remember, you might have understood. What is the process we have done? We have done the process that the triple product lies on the plane of the first two vectors cross product. First two vectors plane. That means this lies on the plane of A and B. That means A and B should be available. They should be available on the same plane. That means these should be multiples of A and B. Because they are lying on the same plane. Hence multiples of A and B. Here we have taken the multiples of A and B. Now, because it is lying on the same plane, it should be multiplied by some scalar. That scalar is nothing but C dot A. First scalar is C dot A. Second scalar is C dot B. This is the first scalar and this is the second scalar. Some scalar. This is the first scalar. Some scalar quantity into B minus another scalar quantity into A. Why? They are lying on the same plane. They are lying on the same plane of A and B. Hence some scalar quantity of A plus some scalar quantity of B. When you go into details and solve for the scalar quantity, then we will get the answer that C dot A is one scalar quantity, C dot B as another scalar quantity, C dot A should be multiplied by remaining vector, third vector B, C dot B should be multiplied by the other vector A, remaining vector A. Hence, A cross B cross C is equal to first scalar quantity is C dot A. C dot A is the first scalar quantity. First scalar quantity is C dot A. Should be multiplied by the remaining vector minus second scalar quantity is C dot B. Should be multiplied by the remaining vector. This is the answer. And main observation is A cross B cross C. A cross B cross C lies on the same plane of A cross B. That is one of the major observations. Please remember this formula, otherwise from the observation you can think and you can easily derive this formula. This is the derivation of the formula. And with this, another important observation is that you do it as a homework. A cross B cross C plus B cross C cross A plus C cross A cross B is equal to 0. You do it as a homework. So that with this lecture, I want to stop today's lecture with this. And in this lecture, we have understood the vector triple product. Till now, we have understood as far as vectors are concerned, definitions, operations, addition, subtraction and multiplication, operations on vectors, and third, vector product, that is vector product, that is cross product of two vectors. Fourth, scalar product or dot product of two vectors. Fifth one, scalar triple product or box product. Sixth, vector triple product. And we understood the geometrical meaning of all of these. Geometrical meaning of all of these. I think this much knowledge in vectors is sufficient for proceeding further into the physics. I have released two shorts. One is for the fundamental units in physics. There are 7 fundamental units and 2 supplementary units, and also few examples of vectors and scalars, because we are dealing with the vectors and scalars. I have given with the units. 2 shorts I have released. You can see them. And in addition to that, from next class onwards, I will be starting the actual physical classes, starting with units and dimensions. Dimensional analysis. We will be doing the dimensional analysis. Very important topic, dimensional analysis. Because in the recent NEET examination, NEET or JEE examination 2025, in the recent examination, dimensional analysis was felt as dimensional analysis was felt as the toughest part of the question paper. This may be the view of some students, it may not be view of everybody, but however, we should not neglect the dimensional analysis. The total physics depends upon the units and dimensional analysis. If I have forgotten a formula at the time of writing the examination, from the dimensional analysis I can get the formula. So that we will derive the formula from dimensional analysis, and we see that we understand the dimensional analysis well, and next class will be the basics of units, dimensions and dimensional analysis. Dimensional analysis. It may take some few lectures, but be patient. We will be doing well in understanding the concepts of dimensional analysis. Units, dimensions in physics. Best of luck to everybody. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for viewing my lecture. Please subscribe to my channel, Maths and Science by IITian. Till this 5th lecture, I went very slowly so that I want you to understand the vectors concept. Well, now I think you have understood the vector concept. This much is sufficient. Now, next onwards, we will be dealing in detail. These units and dimensions will be dealing in detail so that any question that comes, you will be able to perform well in the examination, provided you understand the concepts well and put your attention and also put your concepts knowledge into practice in the examination hall. Best of luck. Thank you.